Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
The foothills of the Himalayas, the Shivaliks. Scientists believe that 7 million years ago, these hills were born out of the labors of the earth. After that, freshwater deposits were added. This process is still going on, adding the rich debris washed off the Himalayas, as the birds have discovered.
Our first ancestor, Ramapithecus, fled to these hills, according to archaeologists. They found his traces in these mountains. Ramapithecus probably escaped to these doorways to the Himalayas, running from the hulking monsters of his age.
We too are drawn to these towering portals, fleeing from the stress and pressure of our daily lives. This area, in the bastions of the mountains, is called Garhwal. It is in Uttar Pradesh. In our quest to take a break, we pierced through the Mohan Tunnel in the Shivaliks.
We entered the 800-meter-high green basin of Dehradun. It is bounded by the Ganga River on the east and the Yamuna on the west, and by the Shivalik Mountains in the south and the Himalayas in the north. Dehra, as it is often called, is a prosperous, bustling town, alive with beetle-busy motorcycle buses called Vikrams, and a clock tower which often shows the right time. Here, time does not always mean the same breathless thing it does in big cities.
For photographer Bharat Kumar, for instance, times haven't changed much since they first discovered the secret of capturing images on a film of silver. His pavement equipment consists of a black box with a basic lens. Outside the box are 2 buckets of water and many patient customers. He takes a picture, then a picture of that picture, and before you can say George Eastman, you've been snapped. Not quite state-of-the-art high-tech, but quite frankly, you can't beat his system. Smile, please. Another visitor's been immortalized.
180 years ago, however, the valley attracted other visitors, the British and the Nepalese Gurkhas. On the highest point of the hill stood the Gurkha fort of Kalunga. After 2 assaults on the 31st of October and the 27th of November 1814, the fort was captured by the British. It was then razed to the ground. These 2 lonely cenotaphs commemorate those tragic close encounters of the aggressive kind.
The people of the Doon, however, have been having more serene encounters with greater forces for thousands of years before the British clashed with the Gurkhas. 14 kilometers out of Dehradun is that happy marriage of mountains and water known as Sahastradhara. There is a faint odor of exploded firecrackers from the pipes spouting water from the cold sulfur springs. This, however, does not deter either the bold or the beautiful.
Sahastradhara is, literally, the place of a myriad fountains. Its lush, natural vegetation probably traps rainwater and recharges its silver springs. There's even a green outdoor shower. After the shower, an oven-fresh snack from a traditional clay tandoor. And then the bells call.
In a little temple built against an overhanging rock, worshippers pray. Deeper within, water drips in a womb-like limestone cave, bathing a timeless idol.
Caves and water are an essential part of this limestone area. 5.5 kilometers from Dehradun is the cave shrine of Tabkeshwar. Here, the warrior sage Drona Acharya reputedly received his weapons from Lord Shiva the Destroyer. Drona then set up his forest academy for the martial arts in this hallowed place. Lord Shiva's devotees have always believed that he will grant their wishes here.
Visitors then move on to the fantasy of a robber's cave, 8 kilometers from town. Outside this spectacular gorge, children's laughter and the aroma of picnic lunches excite the senses. Inside, water, play of light, have carved it into an Aladdin's treasure trove. Many people call this legendary discoverer of a robber's cave Aladdin.
You don't have to wade through water to come to Dehra. You can chug in by train to a picturesque little station. Or you can hop a bus from Delhi, 225 kilometers away, or from any town in Uttar Pradesh. Or you can fly into the airport of Jolly Grant, 24 kilometers away. In Dehra, you can choose to live in luxury hotels such as this, paying 2,050 rupees. More modest but comfortable accommodation can be had for 600 rupees air-conditioned to 400 rupees in a state-run hotel. There are a number of other hotels and many offer spectacular views of the mountains.
Wind and rain are still shaping these ranges, and celestial fireworks flashed there slowly. The lights of Mussoorie came to life.
Next morning, we drove out of the 800-meter-high Dehradun and began to climb to 2,000-meter-high Mussoorie. It's a cool 35-kilometer journey up. And from the halfway village of Pata, Mussoorie stands revealed.
It was settled by a Captain Young in 1827. He had ridden up from Dehradun on a hunting expedition and decided to build a getaway cabin here. Before long, the hillsides were dotted with summer cottages.
We are now in the foothills of the real Himalayas. This limestone range was formed 26 million years ago. Its pure limestone attracted quarriers whose ecologically destructive mining was stopped by a civic movement spearheaded by the Save Mussoorie Society. Today, the environment is protected by people like the men of the Eco Task Force, all army veterans, all mountain people, all dedicated to the regreening of these ranges.
Visitors searching for the cool, green slopes of the hills come to places like the Jheel. Here they ride pedal boats and then drive on to Mussoorie to unwind in nature's own air-conditioned resort.
Mussourie's mornings begin crisp and clear when the sun touches Convent Hill and the milk is peddled in on a cycle. Rickshaw men await passengers. The old Mussoorie Library stands watching over Mussourie's celebrated street, the Mall, as it has done for over a century. People breakfast on piping hot puris, crisp golden jalebis, and succulent gulab jamuns, which melt in the mouth.
Soon, the Mall becomes crowded with visitors. The main road of the resort is often called the drawing room of Mussoorie. You can do your own thing in your own time. The happy rhythm of holiday life begins to work its magic.
More energetic folk drive out 15 kilometers along a mountain road to Kempty Falls. This quicksilver cascade of water is popular with visitors who shed some of their clothes and a few of their in its roaring depths.
Afternoon, a certain stillness. Even the winding old street of Landau Bazaar wears a fairly deserted look. Many visitors retire to the quiet of their rooms.
You can choose from top-of-the-market hotels like this one for 1,395 rupees to middle-level ones like this state-run one for 800 rupees. There are also hotels which offer good views and start from 400 rupees double. Tariffs in most hotels in Mussoorie vary with the season and the demand. And in the largest mountain resort hotel in India, you can dream of those distant days when Mussoorie was the most accessible playground of the British Raj.
For 6 days of the week, British expatriates played. On the 7th day, they went to church. Beautiful old Christ Church slumbers in the sun. The Bible on the lectern dates back to 1889. But the church has few parishioners now. There are very few people to protect the priceless stained glass windows gleaming like faceted jewels in the Himalayan sun. Next morning, we leave Mussoorie and have our first encounter with the mountain roads that lie ahead. Every family in these mountains has to be self-reliant. This family has built its hut on a windy ridge and has a barking dog to defend its potato fields. This is a rugged land of far horizons and neighbors separated by high ranges and deep valleys. We climb higher, and when the breeze whispers through the conifers, it has a sharp, resinous bite.
The village of Dhanolti, 25 kilometers from Mussoorie, welcomes us with rising deodars and dappled shadows on a soft mattress of moss and pine needles. Dhanolti is a popular escape for people like Varun and Deepali Kukreja. We asked them why they had chosen Mussoorie and Dhanolti for their getaway.
Especially during summer vacations, when most of the Delhiites they flock Mussoorie because it's the nearest place to Delhi. So, like, we also have come here because it's near. It's the closest place you can go around weekends. So.
Do you find Dhanolti
Yeah,
more your idea of a hill station?
Yeah, exactly. It's very calm and quiet, and natural beauty is more.
To expand your horizons of beauty, you can hire a horse for a ride through the woods.
8 kilometers from Dhanolti is the wayside settlement of Kaddukhal. Once famed for its kaddus, or pumpkins, it now thrives on visitors who park their cars and coaches here. As usual, in all pilgrim centres, local vendors do a brisk and glittering business. Devotees then tackle the 2-kilometer trek up the mountain to the Himalayan shrine of Surkanda Devi.
Atop this 2,930-meter high peak, most visitors who trudge up this rugged path, however, are unaware of this explanation. Worshippers of all ages are warmed by their faith in this wind-whipped height and strengthened by the power of tradition. Such faith and tradition span time. Inside the temple, a group of devotees chanting in Sanskrit perform a havan, an ancient fire ritual of purification. Many people believe that this ritual has remained unchanged for thousands of years.
We stepped out of the temple, the chant still ringing in our ears. The fragrance of the havan smoke mingled with the chill, clear air. And there, in the distant horizon, stretched the high, snow-covered peaks of the great Himalayas. It was time for us to set our feet on the legendary Stairway to Heaven.
Om Trayambakam Yajamare Surandrim Pushtivadhanam